taking a look at some games from last week and kind of some notable performances across the state on Friday. Friday's game, DeKalb, like we had mentioned, they had 2 Power 25 wins over then number 4 McHenry and number 18 Morris. Nazareth played at Limestone. Def, I'll let you kind of maybe talk about that if you want. And then they defeated them 6-4. Sycamore beat Hononegah 7-5. And then Effingham defeated Altamont 8-5.
Well, Gav, I'm surprised you're letting me touch on Limestone here. I mean,
You can
I
add
feel
the
like
nugget about the player, about how Tomey did, but I'll add the info if you want.
okay, all right, yeah, let's do that. So, yeah, Landon Tomey, 3 for 3 with 2 bombs. So, listen, his talent kind of speaks for itself. I know everyone on this call is a big fan of Landon. We had him at the Future Games. We'll get out and see him again this spring at some point, I would think. But just a really good pure hitter for his age. He's going to Tennessee. I think that kind of speaks, enough volumes. But Gav, I know you have a note on this game as well.
Yeah, so Naz playing at Limestone, that is where Jim Tomey went to high school. So Jim is now the assistant at Naz. Obviously, Landon's his son. And at that game, Landon hitting 2 home runs at Limestone at his dad's old high school field. That's pretty cool. Like I can't imagine as a dad seeing that and how cool that probably is for him. And then how cool it was for Landon to get to do that at his dad's high school field as well. But on top of it, I mean, there was multiple like baseball kind of people from the Peoria area that were there that like played pro ball. Like Zach McAllister was back, who played for Cleveland for a while, the Yankees for a little bit, like 3rd-round draft pick, I think, out of IVC in Chillicothe. I know some college guys came back for it, but apparently it was a packed game, so that's pretty cool to see for Jim Tomey's homecoming there.
No, that's awesome. One other note, you touched on Effingham beating Altamont 8-5, but a guy that I was really high on last week when we talked on this podcast, after I saw him at the Kickoff Classic, was Carter Brady, a left-handed arm, 2027 for Effingham. Looked like he threw the ball well. Struck out 11 and allowed just 2 runs over 6 innings of work against Altamont. So glad to see Carter still throwing the ball well, right? I think as scouts, we go out, we see a guy that maybe we haven't seen before. They show really well. From then on, you start tracking, okay, how do they do their next start? How do they do the rest of the spring? So to see Carter come right back out and throw the ball well, it's really encouraging.
Yeah, and then on Thursday, Father McGivney beat Marquette Catholic 11-0. St. Charles East defeated West Aurora 8-6. At the time, number 25 Bennett beat Wheaton North 9-3. Rockridge defeated Geneseo 8-2. Oregon defeated Hinkley Big Rock 9-4. And then Rock Island Allman defeated Lena Winslow 10-2. So if there's anything there that looks noteworthy to you guys, feel free to hop in. But I got a couple nuggets I can add if you want.
Just for me, Joey Aaron struck out 9 in 4 innings. He's going to be their ace at St. Charles East, so good to see him kind of picking up, where we expect him to. And then same with Gino Zagorak for Bennett. He struck out 7 and allowed only 1 run in his 3 innings. And I guess while we're sticking with pitching, Bryce Becker, he struck out 13 in 5.2 innings for Oregon without allowing a run. And then Gavin Aubrey, 5.2 innings, 11 punch-outs for Alleman. So good week for pitchers. And I felt like I was reading, there was like multiple no-hitters throughout the week just doing the roundup. I saw one of them in person. But yeah, it was a good week for the pitchers. We're still waiting for those bats to wake up a little bit. But
well, hey, Colin Schweigen against Geneseo went 3 for 4 with a triple, a double, and 2 RBIs. Home run away from the cycle. So I know we actually probably like him as a pitcher, but honestly, I think at the state games last year he really showed well at the plate, and I think since then it's kind of like, man, he could potentially be a two-way kind of guy that we like.
100%.
So yeah, but on Wednesday, Matea Valley defeated Bennett Academy, who at the time again was number 25, and Tyler Gluding went 2 for 2 in that game with a walk and 4 runs. In Muscuta's win over Belleville East, Austin Musso added another homer to his season. I know he at the Kickoff Classic had 3 homers in the game that I got to see. And Def, I don't want to take your spotlight here. You were at this game, so I'll skip this one and let you get to it. But Peoria Notre Dame beat Brimfield 10-0. Thomas Michaels threw a complete game shutout in 5 innings with 5 strikeouts. Valmeyer defeated Oakville 12-2. Luke Blackwell went 4 for 4 in that game with a triple, 2 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, and 4 runs scored. And then Ryan Schaffnet for Morton struck out 14 in 7 innings.
How about Luke Blackwell? What is with the POs just raking this year? I mean, Dylan Huff, Cam Appenzeller, Luke Blackwell, Austin Musso, Connor Blue is in the middle of their lineup. I mean, we were just talking about Colin Schweigen, everybody. I mean, that's pretty cool.
I don't want to ruin our game recaps here soon, but I'll just say Lincoln Way East beat Wilmington 2-1, and there was maybe the most impressive thing I've ever seen since taking this job is what I saw.
Yeah. All right. Well, and then on Tuesday, we had St. Charles North beating Providence Catholic, who at the time was number 1. Def, I know you were at that game. I'll let you kind of get into that. Leo defeated Bogan 15-0. Rochester beat Springfield. Southeast 11-0. Tremont beat Brimfield 7-2. And St. Anthony beat St. Joe Ogden 4-3. And then actually to add, number 9 Minooka at the time defeated number 18 Morris. Braden Zillis threw 4 innings, struck out 7, didn't allow a run, allowed 2 hits and 3 walks. So good outing for him. But if you guys got anything you want to add, actually Chase Rhodes too in that Tremont win. He is a guy that we need to go out and see this spring. He threw 3 innings, struck out 6, allowed no runs. But yeah, go ahead, Def, if you have anything.
Yeah, I'll obviously touch a little bit more in depth on the St. Charles North Providence Catholic game later, but that was St. Charles North's first game of the season. Talking to Coach Genke before the game, I mean, St. Charles North lost 16 seniors, is what he told me, which is crazy. But they've got a younger team this year, and what better way to start your year than by knocking off, our preseason number 1 in Pravi. I believe they're down in Tennessee this week for spring break, so we'll see how the North Stars continue to play, but certainly an encouraging start to the season for those guys.
Yeah, and then on Monday, number 1, again at the time, Providence Catholic. They scored 18 runs in the first inning of their game on Monday. That's crazy. And then Limestone beat Peoria Richwoods 15-5. Gavin Kleist, I think is how you say it. He drove in 5 runs, had 2 hits, and one of them was a triple. And he's a kid that I've actually heard a little bit about. I know he's had I think he's off to a pretty good year for Limestone, so he might be one to keep an eye on or get an eye on. I know our guy Dane Poe is just at the game, so I'll have to get some info from him on Gavin. But Route Catholic defeated Riverton 11-2. And Jace Laudeman, another guy that has been doing really well this year so far, went 4 for 4 with 4 runs, a triple, double, 3 runs scored, and 3 stolen bases. So really good game for him. And Route Catholic is a team to watch for sure. They're off to a good start. They're always a good program. I mean, they made it to state last year. They didn't win, but I mean, they're definitely a team I wouldn't be surprised that they could make it back for sure. But Hammett, if you want to talk about player and pitcher of the week from last week, I know we had 2 really good stat lines.
Yeah, well, we'll go with player of the week first. And you had mentioned that he almost won National Player of the Week, correct? Austin Rutter from Sacred Heart Griffin.
Yeah, there was 4 guys that they were determining, kind of voting on, and he was one of them. He had a really good week.
Yeah. So just a sophomore, and part of the what goes into picking this is not just the line. It's very much who they played, and also how did they affect their team's overall success as well, right? So Austin Rutter helped Sacred Heart Griffin up to a 4-0 start that week, and I know they're doing even better than that now. But he was 7 for 11 on the week with a home run, 2 triples, 2 doubles, 12 RBIs, 3 runs scored, and 3 stolen bases. So yeah, I mean, he was almost National Player of the Week. His best game, arguably, 2 for 3 with a home run, 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored versus Pawnee. And then against Williamsville, he was 2 for 2 with a triple and 2 RBIs. So really good week for him. Hope he keeps it going throughout the rest of the spring. And then for pitcher of the week, we have Ryan Schaffnet, a senior going to Bradley from Morton. He threw 9 innings on the week, so it was 2 different outings. So against Normal West to start off the year, he went 2 innings, struck out 4, didn't give up any runs. And then against Briarcrest Christian, he went 7 innings, scattered 3 hits, and struck out 9. So on the week, 9 innings pitched, no runs, 5 hits, 13 punch-outs, and no walks. That was kind of what sealed it, I think, was the no walks to 13 punch-outs in 9 innings. Like, shafted it. I mean, he's a power arm, long-levered kid. So the fact that he's able to throw strikes like that, really impressive. And I saw he had another really, really good outing recently. So he might be in discussion for pitcher of the week again here soon. But, yeah.
Well, to add to Schaffner's performance for Briarcrest Christian, they are down in Tennessee. And I was just taking a peek, Tyler. I heard you mention it earlier in our call this morning, but they are currently, I believe this was from last week, ranked number 15 in Tennessee. So really big win and really good outing for Schaffner there. But that kind of turns us over to the Diamond Notes, which kind of follows with the Player of the Week. So we use the Diamond Notes, like the coaches submit a form, and then we select two, like a Player of the Week, a Pitcher of the Week. And then with the rest, the players that did not get Player of the Week, we make this Diamond Note story, and that comes out on Wednesdays. So keep an eye out for that this week. But just a couple nuggets from last week's Diamond Notes. I just wanted to give a shout out to Wilmington. They're a 2A program who was playing some bigger schools, and they actually competed against them. Joliet West and Lincoln Way East, they lost both, but they stayed in the game with them. And obviously one of them was against Jack Bauer, who Tyler will be talking about here soon.
Well, and real quick,
go ahead.
Sorry, Gab. I didn't mean to cut you off, but the Lincoln Way East game, like Lincoln Way East walked them off. It was 1-0 entering the bottom of the seventh. So Wilmington certainly was having no issue hanging with Lincoln Way East, which is a big kudos to them. Like you said, they're a 2A school. Scheduling these 4A programs, like I think it says a lot that they're not afraid to play whoever, wherever.
And so this was not a part of the Diamond Notes, but it just felt natural to add it as kind of a Diamond Notes section. RJ Duncan from East Peoria, they're down in Lake Point at Georgia, our facility down in Georgia. And Ian Smith, one of our Georgia guys, got a look at him, and he was pitching against Maryland, who Ian said was, or a team from Maryland, who Ian said was probably the best lineup from that entire event that they had going on down there. And RJ pitched 4 innings. He struck out 10. His fastball was 86 to 89, top 92. His slider was in the mid 79s. Mid 70s, sorry. And he showed feel and advanced actions on that pitch. His changeup was 77 to 80 miles an hour. And then in that game, he also homered to the pull side, 93.1 EV on that homer. So pretty impressive stuff there from RJ, the Illinois State commit, future gamer last summer. I know it was his, I guess, homecoming for the future games, or since the future games, coming back down to Lake Point in Georgia. So good outing there for RJ.
Well, I just want to say, like, seeing the tweet that Ian put out, looked like, man, he's really cleaned up, like, his delivery and his mechanics. It's big kudos to him, right? I think all of us being around RJ, he seems like a very determined kid. Doesn't surprise me at all that he probably has an awesome work ethic. To me, it shows, right? Like, I seriously mean that. Like, I think his delivery's really cleaned up since we last saw it at future games, and also he came to our state games as well. So big kudos to RJ. That's awesome, going down out of state, playing really good competition down south, and not having any issue.
Yeah, and then East Peoria's shortstop, Jackson Aarons, he's a 2026. On that week, I think it was just at that event, he went 5 for 14 with 2 doubles, a triple, a home run, 3 walks, 0 strikeouts, 10 RBIs. And then just a nugget about him athletically, he plays basketball as well for East Peoria. He averaged 13.3 points per game, 3 assists per game, 5 rebounds per game, 2 steals per game, and second team all conference as a junior. And a pretty good conference in that Peoria area. They're always a lot of good basketball down here. So good nugget on him. And then just some of these other names were in the Diamond Notes. Lance Cuddy, Coal City 2026, went 5 for 9 with 2 homers, 6 RBIs, and 2 runs scored in one game. And then another game that was on the week. And then their win over Prairie Central, he went 3 for 5 with a homer, 4 RBIs, and a run scored. Right-handed pitcher Carson Norris at Lakes Community. He's a 2026, went through 5 innings, struck out 11, walked 1, allowed 2 runs and 3 hits. Landon Loomis from Triad went 5 for 9 with 2 homers, a double, 7 RBIs, 3 runs scored and a walk. Antonio Brown, a pitcher at Homewood Flossmoor, threw a no-hitter against Hinsdale Central with 8 strikeouts and 2 walks. Hudson Lavelle from Morton to 2027. They also were on a trip. I believe it was down in Tennessee. On that trip, he went 8 for 21 with 3 homers, a triple, 3 doubles, 8 RBIs, 6 runs, a walk, and a stolen base. And then Jace Laudeman from Route Catholic. He's a 2025. He went 7 for 12 with a triple, double, 2 RBIs, 8 runs scored, a walk, and 5 stolen bases. So that's only a small part of it. There's a lot more names in that actual Diamond Notes story, but just some nuggets that were pretty noteworthy. But for coaches, I would say just be sure you are submitting that each week to us. I believe it's Monday morning or Sunday night that you'll be getting an email. And if you're not, just let us know. Email Drew or one of us, and we'll make sure you guys get set up with that to submit some players. And we can give love to them and try and just get some stats out there and more nuggets on them. I think the Diamond Notes story is a really cool one. Is obviously the player of the week is too. But go ahead, Hammett.
Yeah, even like we love when coaches will submit multiple players, right? Because they're not all going to win, but they all get mentioned. So like it doesn't need to be someone that you're like, he had a good week, but he's not going to win. Like send it to us. We get him some love anyway. You know what I mean? Like it's not about just like sending us the guy that you think will win. Send us all the guys that you thought, had good weeks, and we just want to shout out. Simple as that.